This is the Good Neighbor Podcast, the place where local businesses and neighbors come together. Here's your host, Regina Lee.
Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to the next episode of the Good Neighbor Podcast, located here in the South Charlotte area. And today I have with us Raymond Notario, a South Charlotte resident, business owner. And Raymond, you own Cleanhomepowerwashing. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me on, Regina.
Absolutely. So let's get started. Tell us a little bit about the business and how you got into this.
Yeah, for sure. So my name is Raymond Notario. I run a company called Cleanhomepowerwashing. We serve both residential and commercial clients in the Charlotte area. We got into business about 6 years ago. Yeah, so this will be our 6th year in business, and yeah, it's been quite a wild ride, but yeah, we're still here and still serving the community.
That's amazing. What made you go this route into this kind of business?
So originally I was a journeyman lineman for about 14 years, traveling around building power lines, and was really involved and loved doing it. And then just one day I woke up and I was like, I really want to kind of plant my roots down into the community. And I started just thinking about what type of avenues I could go about that. And I thought back into the old history books in my mind and remembered that me and my best friend had started a pressure washing business in Augusta, Georgia when we were really young. And it failed miserably like within 3 months. But that seed was always planted. So I started looking up exterior cleaning, and then lo and behold, Cleanhomepowerwashing was born, and it just went 100% all the way in. Took the savings that I had, invested it all in the equipment and the first levels of marketing, buying a website, getting everything going, and just hit the ground running.
So when you were building your company and your vision, what did you know off the bat was going to make you different? Because, there's a lot of businesses that do this. So what sets you apart?
Yeah, that's a great question. The main thing, and I'd say the biggest pillar that made me feel that would set us apart then, and actually still does to this day, is that we genuinely care about our customers. We want to be, or at least do our best job at striving to be the change we want to see. That's part of our core values. That's part of what we push for each and every day, is to be a service first company, a company that always puts the customer first, always tries to build a relationship with our customers, become not just a transaction, but someone that people can count on to be responsive to questions. If there's an issue, we're not hard to get a hold of. We come right back out to the job, make it right. That's why some of the things we always make sure we let our customers know is we guarantee our work 100%. In some cases, like with our roof soft washing, we actually warranty the roof cleanings. We have quite a bit of 5-star reviews, and if someone was to go look at our Google page and check our reviews out, I think they'll see that we're not just after getting your money. We want to actually add value to your life, and we're the same also with all of our employees. So anybody that comes in, we're always trying to improve each other's lives and add value, and that's what I believe really sets us apart.
So in the South Charlotte market, what do you see as some of the biggest, as algae? Talk to me a little bit about what you see a lot on the homes here.
Yeah, most of the time what we see is just organic growth. Like if you are passing through a neighborhood, every once in a while you might ride by a house that hasn't had any TLC for a while on the exterior, and you might notice that there's some green film on the siding, or maybe even some black mildew looking stuff on the soffits, the fascia, the windows, and the flashings, and that's mostly what we'll see. I'd say that's our main service that we provide for people, is just exterior house washing, because they get the organic growth, algae, mildew, mold. But another thing that we see a lot of is actually on the roof. You'll see green moss growing on the roof sometimes. Also, it'll start out with black streaks. And something a lot of people aren't aware of is that nowadays a lot of insurance companies are canceling policies. That moss and mold that gets on those shingles will also increase the cooling cost of the home, because that spongy, wet, dark algae draws in more heat into the home. It actually feeds on the lime filler that's in those shingles. So when that happens, it's actually eating the roof, so it shortens the lifespan. So getting that roof cleaned, we see a lot of that, and getting that roof cleaned is such a huge ROI for someone, because as you know, a roof is not cheap.
Right, right. How often should someone consider, let's talk about the roof cleaning.
hmm
How often?
So what we have seen, and in our own studies, and what we know from just our training and talking to different roofing manufacturers, um, 7 years is about the lifespan that algae will take. So say you have a brand new roof put on your home today, you would be looking at about 7 years before you started to notice that it's called Glioxypsomagma. It's an airborne algae. Once that algae gets on those shingles, and it starts to produce those little black streaks that you'll see
Yeah.
sometimes, that's about a 7 year mark. We warranty the roof cleaning for 3 years because we know it's going to last 7. And the reason we do that is just to give our customers peace of mind that, hey, if we miss a section and say it's alive, the organic system's left alive here and it spreads back out, we'll come back out, no questions asked, and retreat that area. But the answer is 7 years before it starts to show up again. And then probably another 3 years before it becomes like, hey, look, there's something on our roof. So 30-year architectural shingle, a soft wash maybe 3 times for the life of the roof to get that full life out of that roof.
Can you guys pressure wash stucco homes?
Yeah, absolutely. Stucco siding, EIFS, vinyl siding, brick siding, any surface. I like to say that if it's outside, we can clean it. There's nothing we can't clean. No type of siding. Now I will say that stucco is a lot more resilient to algae and mildew than say something, because it's a porous surface, kind of like brick. It takes a long time for the mold and algae to show its face on those porous surfaces. But like vinyl siding houses and stuff like that, it shows up a lot quicker. Like almost annually, you'll start to notice that mildew will start building up.
So in the perfect world, if you could, recommend to people, how often should they have their, I mean, obviously their home when you see it, but does pressure washing prevent as well? You don't wait till it's filthy, right?
Well, some people do and some people don't. When people ask me like, how often should I have this done, which is a common question, I'll most of the time respond with, well, it's a personal preference, because a lot of our customers do have us set up on an annual reoccurring schedule where they have the same day every year. We come out, we treat the house with the solution, kill the mildew and mold and algae, rinse it off, and it just happens automatic every year. They don't ever want to see that stuff pop up on their house. And then we also do have the customers that wait until it looks like they're a little Halloween decoration going on, and
Yeah.
then they'll call us up, and then we just put them on the schedule and go take care of it. So it's really a personal preference. But to your question, when something that separates us as well is, and also a lot of people think that just using high pressure water is what pressure washing is, and what we actually do is a term called soft washing, which would be where we apply a specific detergent that's recommended by the manufacturers of that particular material. So siding, brick, stucco, asphalt shingles, whatever it is, we don't have a secret sauce. We actually get trained by the manufacturer, and then we buy that specific detergent to clean that specific material. And by doing that, it will protect the investment of that, because when that stuff gets on there, again, it's actually feeding on it. That's why it's alive, because it has nutrients, and it deteriorates over time. So yeah, absolutely, having that cleaning set up once a year, once every other year, every 3 years even, you're going to get more life out of your home materials that way.
So you guys, obviously we've talked about the exterior, but you do decks, wooden decks, fences, sidewalks, rust removal. Where do you find rust?
Yeah, so we'd find rust in places normally where there's a condensation line on a home or a commercial space. You'll sometimes see where there's a little tube coming out of your house somewhere, either up from the attic, or some people will have them down in the basement, but there'll be a little condensation pump that when that water builds up from your AC unit, it'll spit that water out. And a lot of times we'll see that rust stain will just be dripped all the way, it'll go all the way down the house. Sometimes around windows, you'll see anywhere where there's hard water coming out, it will produce an iron or a rust on the side of the building. Sometimes we can get rust stains on the concrete, just many different areas, but most of the time the culprit is going to be that condensation line coming off the house that gets on the siding somehow, and it'll leave a huge rust stain. So we have a detergent and a process that will actually remove that rust from the home.
Gotcha. What misconceptions do you think you would like to address that are about your industry?
I think the biggest misconception is that it's kind of a two-piece. One is what I mentioned before, that people like us in services like exterior cleaning is just someone out there blasting high pressure water. That is a big one. I think a lot of people think that, and it's just so far from the truth. And the other one is that anybody can do it. I'll be the first to admit it is not rocket science, but it certainly demands some education and a certain, depending on what type of project you're trying to tackle, it takes a certain level of equipment. And so if I had a dime for every time someone told us a horror story about where either they busted their windows out, ripped the paint off the siding, or a husband or a grandpa got hurt, fell off the ladder trying to pressure wash, I'd have a nice little chunk of change built up. So that's a big one, is that anybody can do it, and that it's just blasting high pressure waters. There's very specific techniques and amounts of pressure and types of detergents. Like I said, on the trucks that we've got 4 trucks in operation here in the Charlotte area, and every one of them have 5 different chemicals for on them. And we actually have a lot more, but the ones that we rarely do, we just keep at the shop. So if the job comes up, we have them. But all in all, I'd say we have about 10 different chemicals that we use for exterior cleaning. So it's not just high pressure water.
Gotcha. What areas do you guys cover in the Charlotte metro area?
So our shop is located right around the Bojangles Coliseum. That's we just moved here recently and relocated. But as far as in the Charlotte area, all around the 485 Belt Loop, we cover Gaston, Mecklenburg, York County. We go outside of there as well. Lots of work in Lake Norman area, tons of work in Ballantyne, Matthews, Mint Hill, just pretty much everywhere. If you were to just drop a pin right in the middle of Charlotte, I'd say we're covering about a 40-mile radius around there. So we've got crews that can just kind of go wherever we're needed in that Charlotte area.
Right. Well, this has been awesome, and an education for me as well. I appreciate all that you shared with us. How do people reach you?
Yeah, so the best way to reach us is either by phone or on our website. You can give us a call at 704-214-1485, and Jenny in the office will be happy to provide any questions you have, get you signed up for free estimate. You can also go to that website at cleanhomepowerwashing.com, and there is a free estimate form on there you can fill out. Also, you could text that number. We're on social media, Facebook and Instagram at Clean Home Power Washing. And so any of those channels, also on Nextdoor, Google, the whole nine. So we're not hard to find. Like I said,
Right.
we do have around 700 5-star reviews online across all platforms. So tons of references and resources you can read, and we're also always happy to provide some references to anybody who's interested in getting to know us.
Well, and I think the fact that you are family owned, you're not a franchise. It's amazing what you've accomplished. So congratulations.
Oh, well, thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Well, I look forward to meeting you out in the community.
Likewise. Thanks for having me on. Really appreciate it, Regina.
Absolutely.
All right. Take care.
Thank you for listening to the Good Neighbor Podcast. To nominate your favorite local businesses to be featured on the show, go to gnpsouthcharlotte.com. That's gnpsouthcharlotte.com or call 980-351-5719.